Welcome to the Real Talk Podcast, where we create conversation and community among real people about everyday issues. This is a place for you to hear truth, connect with others, and find answers to your questions. Here's your host, Alan Reed.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Real Talk Podcast. I'm Alan Reed, host of the show, and today we have the entire team together, and we're going to be talking about social media.
Yeah!
And as we get started, I thought as a good way for our audience to get to know us, let's do something a little creative. So introduce yourself briefly and do it with your spirit animal. What is your spirit animal? Who are you? And we'll begin with...
That's a very existential question.
It is a very existential question.
Yes.
So I discovered my spirit animal one day. We were on vacation in Colorado, and I had backed the car out of the garage, and I was just waiting, as you do. And I looked out the window, and under the tree, there's these perfectly little pile, like walnuts or whatever they are. There's some kind of tree nut in little pyramids. And I thought, that's odd. Surely, nope, sure enough, here comes a squirrel out of the tree with a ton of these nuts in its hand, and it starts piling them in perfect little pyramids.
Nice.
So I thought, that is my spirit animal.
A squirrel.
Yeah.
Nice.
An OCD squirrel, to be specific.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
All right.
I know that's exciting.
That's good. That's good.
Similar to a squirrel, I believe my spirit animal is a chipmunk. I've always had a great fascination with Alvin and the Chipmunks. So I'm starting my own band called Allie and the Chipmunks.
Nice.
Did you have a crush on Theodore?
No, I had a crush on Alvin, clearly.
Of course.
Here are some characteristics about chipmunks that I feel like are very similar to me. We have giant eyeballs. We are...
It's a good thing that this is audio.
We are affectionate. We're lively. We have pudgy cheeks. We are a favorite among animators. And not that anyone has ever animated me, but I'm often compared to animated Disney princesses, which I take as a compliment. So,
that is a compliment.
Conceited much? Or?
Yeah.
No, it's because their eyes are huge. That's really why. And then also on the scary side, they have a very painful bite, and it's something to be aware of. So look out.
Dun, dun, dun.
True. I've been bitten by a squirrel, but now.
Whoa.
You got bit by my spirit animal.
Yes. Yeah.
Did you get rabies?
Did you become like
I
a
don't
superhero?
know.
He's a
No.
super squirrel.
Super
Yeah, I was
squirrel.
kidding. It didn't puncture the skin, but it made me cry.
It was yesterday.
I was 5 or
All
6.
right, moving on. David, what is your spirit animal?
I can't say that I was bit by my spirit animal,
Not yet.
but I have been compared to my spirit animal many times. In high school, I had the nickname the koala bear because, one, my hair, I had a very thick curly hair. It was like a fro, and I like to eat, so I liked not necessarily just eucalyptus leaves, but
I picture David in
just
high
in the
school
corner,
just sitting
just-
around like just
is
eating,
hilarious.
just staring around at people, just munching away.
I'm very nonchalant, and I wouldn't call myself lazy, but I tend to be lazy.
You're very laid back.
Yes,
Yes,
laid back. That's a better.
yes.
That's a better.
Chill.
A nicer way to
Soup
say that.
chill.
I can totally see
All right,
that.
Alan, what's yours?
I had a hard time with this one.
It was your idea.
I know. And I researched it. I looked into it. I think I landed on like a wolf. I've always liked wolves.
Whoa.
You hungry like the wolf?
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm outta here.
I
That was
actually am
annoying.
hungry all the time. I didn't think about that. I'm like, wolf pack, team player, playful. I can be impulsive at times. Don't take myself too seriously. And I'm playfully competitive. I
think
love.
he's a puppy.
I can make
I
anything
was
into
gonna say,
a game.
This sounds like a dog, not a wolf.
Not a
wolf
wolf.
are like
All right, I'm a puppy. I'm a Labrador.
yeah, there you go. That's better. A wolf is like ferocious and fierce and aggressive.
I can.
It
Yes.
depends.
Yeah.
Have you seen Twilight?
You're done.
Yeah.
You're done. Ladies and gentlemen, this will be Allie's last episode of Real. No, I'm just
I
kidding.
attended a Twilight movie with my wife, and I was like the only guy in the theater.
Is it
Actually,
a
there were
midnight
2 of
premiere?
us.
Alan is also done with Real Talk.
15 minutes into the movie, the lights went out, like the electricity went off, and it was amazing at how many angry women there were in that theater. They were so upset, and it was funny.
I thought you were going to
videotaped
say you
it.
screamed. That's where I was hoping that story was
Oh
going.
no, yeah, no. So, yeah, And I wasn't a fan.
I was actually
Ashley
thinking
was
the
a
same
fan.
thing. That
Yeah,
that's where it was
that's
going to
what
go.
I was hoping.
Hey, let's
are
talk
we?
social media.
Yeah.
So we want to talk social media today, but you know, a lot of times people, it's social media's been around. It's not going anywhere long past the days of MySpace. Right now, we've got Facebook and Metaverse and Twitter and Instagram and yeah. So like Facebook, you know, social media is here to stay, and it's not going anywhere. And too many times, especially early on with social media, a lot of people tried to say it was really bad. Well, we don't want to really, you know, harp on stuff like that. There are definitely some things that are about social media that could be bad, but you know, we really want to talk about just in general some thoughts about social media. Mm-hmm. So I gave you guys all some homework, and I want to know what crazy funny news article you came up with, because your homework was to find either something about social media or something on social media that was just a crazy, fun, wacky, bizarre, odd, whatever. So who wants to go first?
I will go first, because my news article is not necessarily about social media, but it is something that we should be afraid of. So this year, Israeli scientists,
Oh no.
Oh dear.
they have figured out that fish can drive cars.
No.
It's a true story.
I'm going to need some context.
So, in their words, the FOV, fish operated vehicle, they have attached a fishbowl.
how are you doing this with such a serious face?
They have attached a fishbowl to a car, and they set up sensors for whenever the fish would swim in a certain direction, the car would move in said direction. And then they put them in mazes and put distractions in front of them to see if they could actually navigate their surroundings, right? Mm-hmm. Well, it come to find out they can.
Wow.
And so goldfish might not be as dumb as we think they are.
Oh.
Stop flushing them.
Yeah, so stop flushing them, because they are like
They might
in the
steal your
sewers coming back with their cars ready
Oh
to
my gosh. Oh my gosh, what a crazy news
Down there
article.
with the Ninja Turtles.
down there
just
with the
like
Ninja Turtles
We don't need
driving
changing the
cars.
world.
Yeah.
It's a big traffic jam down there.
Well-
So just be careful
gosh.
when you're
That's
navigating the
funny.
sewers. You might run into some
You
Or
know,
the
I
streets.
knew
FOVs.
Streets
I
these
knew.
days are dangerous.
I knew David would deliver.
He did.
I think all of us are
Yes.
going to be pale in comparison, but I knew David would deliver.
But here they found that
It just keeps going.
So they've actually tested this.
yes, they did. This
put
was
one
like
in a car.
over time, and they put not in a specific car.
Yeah.
It's
So-
more or less, scientists, they like to take their findings and then apply it to everything that. Yeah. So essentially, but they found that the neural passage of like navigating things is not just in your environment. You can adapt to certain areas just based on your brain's natural inclination to navigate. So there you go, which then can be thought, like when birds travel south, they just know. Just like fish, they know how to drive cars. So watch out.
Yeah. Finding Nemo in a car.
Are you sure it wasn't a Tesla?
Driving
it was just
Nemo.
on autopilot.
Oh my gosh, driving Nemo.
Driving
Driving
Nemo.
Nemo.
Yeah.
Okay. Allie, what's yours?
Wow. I'll just read the headline and then I can explain if needed. This story comes out of Canada. It says, dead raccoon in street gets bizarre candlelit vigil to shame council cleanup team.
Wow.
So this is a story that went viral, 7 years ago now. There was a dead raccoon on a street side in Toronto, and people took to Twitter to take care of this situation. They tweeted at 311 Toronto, there's a dead raccoon on the sidewalk, and explained the location. 311 Toronto tweeted back and said, thank you for letting us know. This was reported a short while ago, and Animal Service has been notified. Time goes on. Nobody came to get the dead raccoon, so people literally named the raccoon Conrad. They took a portrait of it and framed it, and it sat up next to his dead body. People came and held a candlelit vigil. There's a picture of Conrad on Twitter with roses in his hand. His corpse is just laying there, and his hashtag went viral.
So have you seen the meme where it's like the dead raccoon on the sidewalk and it's got a balloon and it has a get well card?
No.
That's like a legit thing, and I thought it was a joke. I'm like, I wonder if that's Conrad. I wonder if
Maybe.
that meme is Conrad.
I don't know, but I think his body's not there anymore. However, rip Conrad.
Yes.
Rest in peace.
Wow. All right, Alan, what's yours?
I'm a news junkie, and I like all kind of odd news. So the one that I found was the lab monkey on the run after trucks crash sparked fears of infection. And
And the world came
and it's
tumbling
funny.
down.
It's funnier as you look into it. But a monkey was on the run after a transport truck containing 100 lab monkeys crashed and allowed 4 to escape. And so a lady heard that they may have been,
Oh, there's a picture of cute.
yeah,
little
that she may have gotten sick from
Did
it. so
Tommy
she
Lee
freaked out.
Jones head up the search for it? Because that'd be hilarious.
Can I play you a video clip? Like if I put this close, would it? It's,
It probably could, yeah.
Okay, this is a lady that saw what happened.
They had this like green cloth over, so I peel it back and I go to stick my finger in there to try to pet it, and it pops its head up, and I'm like, oh, it's a monkey. So I was like, I'm shocked. So I walked over to the guy, and I'm like, they're not cats, they're monkeys. He goes, they're what? I'm like, they're monkeys.
Even though the search was suspended.
This lady was freaking out.
They're not
monkeys.
cats.
They're not
Yes.
cats.
They're monkeys.
Yes, and
Like, why do they find like the weirdest people to interview on news reports?
yeah. Well, and the sad thing is they had to like euthanize like 3 out of the 4. So
People
Were they
Anyway, so
infected,
there's a-
though?
no, there was just a fear. Someone had told her that that she might get infected, and I did a little research on it, and you can get the bee virus from it, which is extremely rare.
Not the bee virus.
Yes,
Is
yeah.
that where you get gold and black rings around your rump and you develop a stinger?
No, that's a different one, James.
Oh, okay. A bee virus. I mean,
Yeah, it can give you brain damage. So yeah, so,
Can't you get Ebola from monkeys, too?
probably, but they were
Outbreak.
They were
Dustin Hoffman.
they were worried
Cuba
about
Gooding Jr.
the bee virus. Anyways, pretty funny. The lady made it real funny. So but yeah, that was my story.
Okay. If you know anything at all about the internet and the webs and social media, all you have to do to find crazy news stories is search Florida. So that's what I did. I had a couple that were good. So honorable mention is that a town in Florida accidentally sold their water tower. Which is pretty good. But my favorite one, though, that I found, this is absolutely my favorite. Woman struck in head by turtle that crashed through her windshield on I-95.
Whoa.
What?
I just have to read it. Back in April, a 71-year-old woman suffered a gash on her head when a turtle hit the windshield of her car while she was driving on I-95. Other than a gash, the woman wasn't seriously hurt, just a little shell
That
shock.
is hilarious.
Oh my
little shell
gosh.
shock.
Somehow the turtle only suffered a few scratches to its shell and was released back into the wild. Like,
That is awesome.
how was a turtle flying through the air and went through her windshield and hit her in the head?
That is
Maybe we should be alarmed about
I bet it
TOVs.
was riding with a
Oh my
fish.
gosh.
turtle-operated vehicles.
No, the fish was driving and he was driving
Can you
crazy.
do
And the
that with
turtle
any
flew
state,
out.
just like fun.
Oh,
No,
I'm
it's
sure you
just
can,
it
but
mostly it's just
Florida-
Florida. Literally, when you said that, I had an alert this morning about Florida man fights off bears to save his dogs.
Oh gosh, it's crazy. There's
So
just
Florida,
so many.
y'all
There's
crazy.
Just so many. Yeah, Florida is totally messed up. But that's just an example.
Coming from Arkansans.
Yeah, Arkansans. That's just something, you can find anything on social media, right? So
yeah.
that's one of the beauties of it is it can be incredibly entertaining. But what about trends? There are social media trends, right? Like what are some trends you guys can think of?
Wordle.
I knew that was going to come up. Wordle.
And
Wordle.
just a timestamp, this is January 25th, 2022.
Yep. That way, if you're
It'll
watching this
probably
later and you're like,
And
what?
then-
Dead by
and-
February 1st.
I was going to say, in a week, it'll be gone.
2022.
I'm looking at this.
But for those who are listening in the future and don't know what Wordle is, what is Wordle?
That is the question. That must be
May we
answered.
never find out.
Yeah.
So I just pulled it up. This is my first time seeing it.
You've never seen Wordle?
No,
Wow.
I've heard you guys talk about it.
Yeah, Wordle. It's just a fun word guessing game. But fun story. There's a couple of us that are really ornery, and so we've been posting clues about what the Wordle is. And today someone posted a clue about what the Wordle was on my status. I didn't post it, so no one can get mad at me. The last time I did it, people got really mad at me, so I'm not gonna,
I was one of
I'm
them.
not going to break it.
I ain't gonna lie.
But, like things trend on social media, and it's not just things that you can get involved in. But do you remember, anybody remember Mason Ramsey?
Yes, he's precious. That little angel, little country angel.
Yep, he was the kid that was yodeling at Walmart. And
Yodel
was
kid?
Yep, Yodel
Yeah,
kid. His
Yodel
name
kid.
is Mason Ramsey. Mason, if you're listening, hashtag Mason Ramsey. Yes, it went viral because it was like a trend because he went yodeling at Walmart. Now, fortunately, no one started yodeling at Walmart. Like that trend didn't pick up, but it would have been funny if it did. What about the gold dress?
You mean the blue dress?
Yeah, there you go. David knows what I'm talking about. That dress that everybody's like, it's gold, it's blue.
It's gold and white or blue and
Gosh.
black.
Yeah.
What was that, 2014, 2015?
Yes, that just shows you how long these things have been around. What about Yanni versus Laurel?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Do you remember that one?
Yeah.
Do you remember that one?
Yanni.
Laurel.
Yanni, Laurel,
Laurel.
Yanni, Laurel. Like, yeah. Alan's
Alan's over here
like,
like,
I don't know what
young
you're talking
children.
about. Get off my lawn.
beating us with his cane.
What about? I love this one. When people tried to find their doppelganger in classical art using the Google Arts and Culture app.
Mine
Remember
was
that?
very legitimate.
Yours
could
was
probably
actually
still
there
find
were like
it.
4 answers. That's all there were that anybody ever got.
No, there
But
were
you
a lot
know-
more than that.
That's how Google got all of our faces, though.
Yes, I was getting ready to say that. That's how Google was like, "Hey, we're gonna get everybody's face by having them show us their picture,
That's before they owned everything.
and we're gonna
done for.
do whatever." And you know, it's funny because there's the 10-year challenge is what's going on right now, right? Like post a picture of yourself 10 years ago, and then I saw a meme that talked about that said, and it's also on social media, said, "Hey, the government was really behind on getting their tracking details," and Facebook was like, "Hey, it's okay, we'll take care of it."
Oh my gosh.
So they created the 10-year challenge.
Funny.
So, I mean, like, but that's the thing. That's what's really brilliant about social media is that there's just fun things that people get behind and there's, you know, just these things that happen. So, I also gave you guys additional homework to do a BuzzFeed quiz about what is your dream job. So I want to hear... So what this is for everybody listening, it's just a random quiz on BuzzFeed. BuzzFeed is like home to a million quizzes where you pick a food for every letter of the alphabet. And once you pick a food from choices, it tells you what your dream job is. So I want to start with Alan. Now that he's kind of blow his nose, we'll go to someone else. David,
Yeah.
what is your dream job?
So I've picked my foods, and I feel like I picked them well. And I came out as an artist.
Oh, amen, brother. Read your description. Let's see if
So
it's
the
David.
artist says you might be a singer, dancer, or painter. Really anything that can showcase your true talent and creativity for others to enjoy.
Yes.
It's the dancing.
Yeah,
That's
I feel like that is 100% David, but
dancing
surprise,
You got
You're
artists
also
too.
an artist.
I also got artist.
I feel like a little
Shocker.
dance squad is coming
So-
along
You guys need
here.
to do a routine.
We'll post that on our next episode. You guys
I
won't
won't
be
be
able to see
watching
it,
that.
but you'll be able to hear it.
Ew.
We'll call ourselves Dancy Reagan. And
Dancy Reagan. It'll be actually it's going to be DJ Dance. So
that works too. David
you
James
won't hear anything
Dance,
except for
get
the
it.
wheezing and huffing and puffing. Allie, Allie, what was your dream job?
Mine was social media star.
Wow.
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 So relevant.
You know, after that description where you wanted to be a Disney princess, I think this is adding up. What's the description?
You are very open to all kinds of people. Not true. And like to be on top of the world. You'd use your voice and charisma to draw people in and keep them coming back to hear more.
What do you think, guys?
Am I keeping real talk alive? Is that what
Is
I'm
that
hearing?
Allie?
Yes.
Just kidding.
You're the star.
I think
Yikes.
Michael would agree. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Of course he would.
He better. I'm just kidding.
Of course he would. All right, Alan.
Mine was a chef.
What?
I have no idea. But you know, when I got to thinking about it more, I love to cook breakfast. So if
you
it's like a
remember-
breakfast chef, if I was like at, I don't know, what's a great breakfast place?
Butter biscuit.
There.
McDonald's. Duh.
I could work
Waffle
there.
House.
I could work at all those places.
Waffle House is good.
I love
Waffle
waffles.
House?
I love pancakes.
You take that back.
Waffle House is indigestion on a plate,
I'm passionate
No.
about eggs.
just like Burger
I
King.
love a greasy diner.
We're all talking about breakfast over here. Alan's like, and I'm passionate about eggs. I'm passionate.
It says
You
you have
guys-
a passion for cooking and bringing something new to the plate. Literally, you want to use your cooking skills to impress and satisfy all the hungry customers you can. So I could open up a breakfast joint.
Do you remember his spirit animal? And now he's a chef. He could be Wolfgang Puck.
Oh my gosh.
Asian breakfast.
Yep, I'm also an artist. Moving on. So these are just the kind of things that people do with social media. They're fun and they post them and it's like, yeah, you know, and people just have fun with things like that. And that's really great. I want to ask you guys how you engage social media. So I'm going to start with Allie this time. You know, I know Allie, you have to do that professionally.
Social media star.
So she is a social media star. That's her dream job. But how do you engage social media? Like when you are jumping into social media, what's your thought process behind it? Like when you're posting things, what do you post? Why do you post? What's your
Professionally or personally?
personally? Let's not talk about professionally.
So personally, to be real honest, I've been off of social media a lot lately. When it comes to posting, I'm still on there. I'm still looking at everything, but man, just the climate of social media has been a little scary for me lately. I don't want to argue with people. And so that's, you know, when it says you are very open to all kinds of people, I am not. If you're going to irritate me, I'm not open to conversation with you. But when I do go to post, generally, I like to have a little fun with this. I like to do something humorous or something lighthearted. To me, social media is a place for a lot of comparison. So
that's deep.
Yeah. So I just try to be encouraging if I'm on social media. I really don't want anyone to compare their life to mine, and I don't really want to be a stumbling block for anyone in that way because I know how I feel when I see other people's posts. So, and also just putting yourself in the right mindset too, I think, and why you're posting. You know, sometimes I think everyone posts their highlight reels, so I appreciate it when we just choose not to post sometimes.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. David, what about you?
Like Allie, I don't post much. I used to post a lot, especially on Twitter. I used to be the tweet king. But not anymore. Partly it's just as I get older, I just kind of forget about it. And I still look at social media, but I kind of use social media as a moment to get away for a minute. Not necessarily like just for hours on hours, unless it's on Vine. I used to watch Vine like crazy.
I miss Vine.
Vine was awesome.
I get sucked into Reels, which is basically the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, Vine crawled so everything else could walk. But yeah, social media, I don't like really talking to people on social media, partly because it's just so hard to have decent conversations with people on social media, partly because most of it is just their opinions, and especially politics and just hot button issues seem to be the only thing that, especially on Facebook. I mean, it's harder to do on Instagram, but I don't even have a TikTok, and I've never opened that app ever on my phone. Partly it's because I'm old now and I just can't dance like most of the people can.
I don't know, David.
We're supposed to be a dance crew.
Your quiz
That's right.
says otherwise.
Listen, I'm gonna challenge you on that. You're old and you can't dance, because I am, as we have discussed, seasoned and older than you, and my wife is also a little bit more seasoned and a little bit more older than you. And that was poor English, Allie. Please don't wince at me.
We'll talk later.
But we often will save, reels, which a lot of them come from TikTok, and we will learn the dance moves and like record ourselves doing the dances, and then send them to some friends that we think that will make them laugh.
Those
don't
are
post
fun.
them. We don't post them to social for all to see, because that's a little too much. But we do send them to people that we think it'll make them laugh.
Well, in that case, you're using it more as a relationship building thing than a look world. This is how terrible I can dance.
Yeah. Wait, are you saying I dance terribly?
Wait,
what?
That took a turn for the worse all of a sudden.
Backhanded compliment.
Alan, how do you engage social media? I know how Alan engages
Yeah,
social
I'm old, so I went straight to Facebook, and because that's where most of the time I do my stuff.
I've got pictures of
And
my
created an
grandkids.
account. Just
Yeah,
kidding.
I do. We have pictures of family. I'll have stuff up here that my wife posts.
And a lot of
Razorback
sports.
football games, sports is on here. Putting up Christmas slides. So I keep it really casual. I'm like you guys. I don't like the politics and stuff on there. And I don't unfriend anybody, but I will hide their posts where it just doesn't come up, because I don't like it to be used that way. So I just love to keep up with people, keep up with friends, people that I grew up in Connecticut and I haven't been there in over 30 years. And so it's great to be able to see people that I haven't seen in a long time. So for the most part, that's what I do. Every once in a while, I profile people before I call them if I don't know them. I'm like, do they have a Facebook post? And are they creepy? Are they nice? And so, yeah.
Then don't visit mine. Mine's creepy.
Yeah, I just looked at mine, and I've been really lazy with social media lately. To be honest, most of my social media for like the last 2 weeks has been Wordle. Just
That's
FYI,
funny.
I've been revisiting that topic.
You're on trend.
I'm on my
Yeah,
first
I'm on
Wordle
trend.
right now.
Hey, look, I'm trendy. But a lot of what you'll see on my social media is just little fun trinkets and notes, and snow happens in Northwest Arkansas so rarely that whenever we get it, I have to share it because I'm excited because I love snow, and a lot of pictures of our dog. We are dog parents, and so you see a lot of dog, a lot of Star Trek, just fun stuff. But yeah, so people though that use it in a bad way. That they're not, like you guys have talked about, people are just nasty sometimes on it, and they just want to argue, and they feel like it's one of those things that there's an anonymity, there's a blindness to it, so they can just be just awful, and it's not good. So, but it doesn't sound like any of us are in that, otherwise we'd have to have an intervention. But, let me ask you a question. Are you, maybe not now because of what you guys have said, but have you ever found yourself being addicted to social media?
Oh, yeah.
Vine, yes.
Yeah.
There was hours and hours that I would spend watching Vine. And then you kind of just get sucked in. You're like, where did my night go?
Yeah.
I've been on my phone for 17 hours.
I went to
watching
bed at
Vine.
9 and it's now 1 a.m.
That's not just the night.
And all I've been doing is watching videos. One of my least favorite things, and is I'll sit in a meeting, and I might be leading the meeting, and I look over and someone's doing the scroll.
That was literally me, and I feel like you're calling me out.
I'm not
and
calling you out.
I was trying to find my Google comparison photo.
Oh, you're talking about just now? You found it. It was actually really
I did
epic.
find it, and it
No, but
was
like
legitimate.
that's the thing though. Social media is one of those things where people just are so conditioned to not think about it. But I can't tell you how many times I've sat in a meeting, I've been leading a meeting, I've been sitting next to someone in a meeting, whatever. And yes, I'm kind of bringing this into the professional world, but they're doing the scroll, and it's like, put your phone down.
Yeah.
Just put your phone down. And a few months ago, that was completely wrong. A few years ago, our little community group that we have just decided, hey, you know what? We just need to set our phones to the side. It wasn't always social media. Sometimes it was texts or emails or whatever that we were getting. And it's like, you know what? We're with these people right here. So I'm holding my phone on my hand for those of you that can't see it, which is everyone. Put it down. Like just turn it over, put it down, leave it alone. And so it's been so refreshing for us whenever we're in group settings, especially when we want to spend time with the people we're around, to realize we don't have to have that in our hand. Like we don't have to have social media at our fingertips all the time, nonstop.
And that's what I think social media has done in a good way and a bad way. It does connect you with so much. I like yard sales to Northwest Arkansas.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Oh
Come
my
on.
goodness! But I do. I find myself with my phone everywhere. I can't go to the like I will turn around and go get my phone if I'm not taking it to wherever, the bathroom, you name it. I've got to have it.
You name it.
Yeah, there would be a lot of times where like we're doing something and I'll be like, I need to go to the bathroom, and Andrea says, "Don't take your phone," because it's like you'll get sucked in, you'll sit there, and you'll do it.
Oh yeah.
And the thing is, I think we don't realize it. I think we've become so conditioned that we don't understand it. That we don't realize how much we're doing it.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of people are dealing with that and don't understand that that's what they're doing. But the thing is, not all social media is bad. Right. Social media can absolutely be used for good. Now, I'm going to go ahead and caveat right now. If you are one of those people that post the thing that says, if you love Jesus, you will like and share this and tag 5 of your friends. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry.
If you want the opposite to happen, just
then
put that out there
It's nice
first.
to know, and it's comforting to know that aspect of our lives shifted from emails to social media. If you don't forward this email to 100 people, then Jesus doesn't love you anymore.
Can I just add to, so I was really annoyed by those emails when I was growing up, that I was just one day decided I'm going to create one of these. So I created this fake day called National Stoplight Day. And basically it was like, send this to all your girls who stop traffic. And it was awful. It was just so lame. I got that email back after like several days. And so
that was a nice flex.
But I mean, that's just how ridiculous we were. Like we shared those emails, and that's so embarrassing.
Alan,
Google, please delete my history.
Alan, do you remember whenever you would get them in the mail?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I do. I knew that I was like, Alan would get those in the mail.
Sure.
And you'd have to mail them on to 40 people. Otherwise, all bad luck would befall you. But not all social media is bad. And, there's a lot of people that it's not my style, but there's a lot of people that will literally post things about salvation on a daily basis, and the thing is they are using their reach, their influence, their audience, whoever they might be connected to just share things about the gospel. And that's incredible. And that's amazing. Have you guys done anything? And if you haven't, I've got a story to share, but I want to ask you, have you guys ever engaged social media in an intentional way to do something positive?
I mean, not, I guess, intentionally, unintentionally.
Okay.
Back when I was using social media a lot, I was going through a book called Valley of Vision, which is like a collection of Puritan prayers and things like that. And so every now and then I would post that prayer on Facebook. And I had just random people come up to me and say like, hey, I needed that prayer today, or in person, not even like, I would get like 0 likes or comments on it. That would crush my ego.
Your endorphin meter was down.
Yeah, it was killing my ego. But later on, they'd be like, wow, I just appreciate how positive and uplifting that has been during that process. And it's kind of fun since Facebook and other platforms do like your 10 years ago today, or like, and you see those posts come back up, and it's just like, oh yeah, like I used to be a good Christian and post things on Facebook, but no.
I'm so glad you said it, because I was just thinking the same thing. I'm like, man, sometimes those things are convicting for me, because it'll be like, hey, remember 5 years ago when you were posting stuff like this? Yeah, where'd that guy go?
But maybe you hid behind a digital wall and you didn't share in person as much. So maybe things have just changed.
It could be.
Yeah.
Or maybe check yourself.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of a both thing.
It could be both and or, yeah.
Yeah. I think it's a both thing. But yeah, just having, using it more of an encouragement rather than just posting random stuff. Because now I've kind of defaulted to, if I have nothing really good to say, I'm not going to post, and or posting pictures and stuff. I don't want to say I'm like, I live in the moment kind of thing, but I don't tend to take a lot of photos anymore. My wife does that for both of us. So
for a living,
she is a photographer, but also she's good about, she makes like actual picture books for each year of photos we've taken throughout the year. But,
nice.
But yeah, that I can remember that time, just random people coming up and saying like, that was an encouragement to me. So I guess it wasn't really intentional, but it was unintentionally intentional, because I was like, I'm going to post these things.
Yeah. I mean, to me, that's intentional. I mean, you didn't necessarily know what it was going to do, but you were intentionally posting something for a positive purpose. Anybody else got an example?
I had I still have it. I don't write in it, but I had a faith-based blog that I would write in pretty actively in college. And so a different form of social media, but I loved it. And that was a really fun use of my creative side. And it was easy because it was more characters that I could type out. And I could tell a full story that would just sit out there on the internet that I often couldn't share with people in person.
And you can't do that like in a social media post. That would be long no one would ever read it.
Yeah, exactly. So that was really fun for me, and also just to tell parts of a long testimony. So I enjoyed doing that, and from the feedback I got, it was helpful in the same way. Like I really wasn't doing it for anyone other than just hopefully one person reads this and it sheds some light on the gospel for them. So yeah, it was fun.
I think mine's probably been more not like a concerted effort. I'm going to do this for a period of time, but I think it's just been more of trying to show a balanced life. I try not to put too much of my Christian stuff on there or too much of my sports on there. I always think about my friends that have grown up outside of church. I grew up in a very unchurched area, so I just try to make a good balance where they see a healthy person, I guess. And so maybe once upon a time when I was in church planting, it was a lot of stuff that was going on in our community and things like that. But I really can't think of anything in particular. I've never done a blog or anything like that. But
I did two very intentional things. Once, a while back, I just kind of went through and I really wanted to make it a habit, and it kind of fell off, as a lot of things do. but it stuck with me for a while, where I would go through my friends list and I would just pick a person and I would go and comment on their wall, just something encouraging about them. So, you know, like I would find someone and say, hey, you know what, today I'm here, I'm going to comment on this person. And I would just comment about them. Like if I'm friends with them on Facebook, I'm not like some people. I don't just accept friends. Like I don't have a massive friends list, because these are people that I actually know, not just people who know who I am, but these are people that I actually know. And so I would go through and I would comment something encouraging about them, you know, and just try to say something really positive about them, because a lot of people go through life not experiencing that. And so both personally and professionally. And so I wanted to just use social media to be an encouragement. And I remember just thinking, you know what, that's going to look, I don't know, I don't really think I thought about how it was going to look like, is that looking self-serving? But that wasn't the point. Like my intention was to encourage Alan, or to encourage Allie, or to encourage David. And it was actually just really wonderful, positive thing, because what I started seeing was people would comment on that post about that person, and next thing you know, they've got 30 or 40 comments of people just encouraging them. And so I think that's what I'm going to start picking back up and doing, because I really liked that. But the other thing I did was during the pandemic, it just struck me, you know, being when the church closed down, because our church closed down, there were just a few of us that were actually working inside the building. And so I was one of those few that was actually here, because my wife was working at home. And so it just occurred to me, like, there are, you know, hearing all the needs and hearing what was going on, and everybody was in such chaos and trauma, not knowing what was happening. And it was like, okay, so I would just post, it was the same, virtually the same thing, like once or twice a week. How can I help you? What can I do for you? You're not in this alone. Because so many people felt like they were alone and sitting at home alone. And even if they were surrounded by their families, they weren't surrounded by community, and they were alone. And so I just posted it. And the first 5 or 6 times I got nothing, or I'd get likes or whatever. But, you know, my intent wasn't to get likes. My intent was, hey, I'm here. I'm just one person, but I'm here. What can I do for you? And after about the second or third week, I started getting responses. And it wasn't, you know, this wasn't the kind of thing where people were going to respond publicly and comment. I would get a lot of instant messages. And so it was really encouraging to me to know, you know, hey, people are going to respond if you ask them, and just keep at it, and just keep at it, and keep at it. And so, you know, I work for a church that has resources. So through that time, we were able to connect some people that had need with resources that we had access to. And that never would have happened had I not just been consistently asking, what can I do for you? How can I pray for you? What do you need? How are you doing? You're not alone. And so those were times that, like, very intentionally, I used social media for a positive reason and saw really great results from that. But what was the most amazing to me was that I felt like I was the one getting the blessing. Does that make sense? Like, I'm trying to do something really nice for others, but then it was kind of like, well, I'm actually the one who felt like I got the greatest reward from doing that, even though it was not focused on me and it was outwardly focused on others. Like, I felt really, really blessed by what I did. And so, you know, we can sit here and we can talk about social media being terrible and being bad, and there are definitely some things on it that are not good, but you can also really, really, really use it as a great way and a great thing to encourage others. And, you know, Allie, you said it earlier, a lot of times social media is the highlight reel, right? And there's a lot of comparison going on. And so people will look at social media and get depressed because my life's not as great as yours, or you just seem like everything's great and everything's happy and everything's all well, and I'm over here like struggling to figure out what I'm going to do for dinner, you know. But you can also use it for something really, really positive and impact people in a really great way. And so, and there's a lot of people that are just really funny, that just post really, really funny things. Ricky Epting is not one of them.
Oh my gosh.
But Ricky, I'm sorry if you're listening, but your jokes are sometimes just not good. But you know, you just, it doesn't have to be a bad thing.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are just stuck on it being a bad thing. And right now, as we've talked about, the culture of social media is just toxic, and it's just negative, and it's just potentially explosive and bad. And it doesn't, like, we especially as Christians can change that. At least in our circle of influence, we can change that. It doesn't have to be what others are making it.
If you can shine
make
a
it
little bit
something
of
different.
light in something that's really dark, then how much more magnified is that light?
Yes.
And so,
And when you bring up a good point of just practically how to practically make social media a platform for you to, you know, be good or bring good, is that you are using this platform to, yes, post in a digital place, but you're leading it to a physical interaction instead of just leaving your interactions being online and behind a computer where you can say something and not mean it, but using the platform to point to a physical interaction, whether that's like a personal invite to church or a, hey, if you need help, let me know kind of thing, and actually doing those things. That's a great way to leverage social media in a positive way, not necessarily just in a Christian way, but just in a, bettering for society as a whole, because we're so bad at interactions in person and having that personal interaction with others in a group setting. And we've talked about it many times before. The only way that we can really have a fulfilling life is with including others in there. Yeah. And I mean, a lot of introverts just screamed right there, but a collective, a quite like,
say they all screamed separately in their own homes.
Yeah.
Wow, we love you, introverts.
Yeah.
So sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Hey, there's a couple of introverts around this table. It's okay.
But yeah, it's meant to be in community, and our Christian life and our relationship with God is really more fulfilled when we have others walking with us.
Yeah. I also think of, you don't have to go out there and just so obviously post scripture or a prayer or whatever that paints you as a believer. If you are literally just sharing photos of your life or just like stories from the day or whatever, they should be different enough from what's going on in the world. So just be yourself kind of thing. And that honestly is probably for some people more welcoming even for that next step in meeting in person and follow up and fellowship and everything to happen. So
yeah, and
be yourself.
Posting real things about your life. I know that there's one of the photographers that my wife follows. She's really good about posting real life issues. Not necessarily that she's searching for, sympathy or likes or whatever, but really she uses that as a platform to say, yes, we're struggling right now, but we trust in God and we trust that He has a plan for us. And that's really encouraging to other people, using your story, not necessarily in a flaunting way or a woe is me kind of way, but really using your situations and stuff in a way that benefits and, can really relate to other people in a way, and then leverage that as a gospel conversation.
Well, our pastor says, and this just speaks volumes to what you're saying, and he just says it in such an eloquent way. People don't identify with your successes. They identify with your failures. We all have our family and our friends that will jump on board and hoorah, yes, congratulations, this is amazing, this is awesome, way to go. And that's good. And sometimes you want to do that because you've got big news, you want to share it with all those people. But, also there are times where we need to be able to just be real and be honest. And that's what people are going to identify with. So, because people are hurting, people are struggling, people are normal, and not perfect all the time. And so yeah, I think that's all really good. Well, I know that Alan's about to die because he's coughing up a lung. So you can kind of probably hear him coughing in the background of our microphones here, but he doesn't have COVID. He's good. He just has emphysema.
He's got the bronchitis. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that. So as we wrap up, we always want to encourage you guys to subscribe, and share this content. We would love to hear your thoughts on the subject matter. So feel free to comment on our social media platform if you're not already following us.
But only kind comments.
Only kind comments. We will censor negative comments.
Meanies.
And I'm going to go ahead and put Allie on the spot that she is going to screenshot her famous artist, her photo, and put it in the comments when we post this so that people will know.
It's very accurate, actually.
I saw it when you picked it up on your phone, and I was like, oh, that's Allie.
Yeah, it's literally my baby photo.
That literally is Allie. But thank you guys so much for joining us. I'm going to let Alan off the hook from having to close us out because I know that if he opens his mouth, like phlegm's going to flame
Ew.
onto the microphone.
Gross.
I'm sitting across from him. That is so nasty.
You're at least 4 feet away. So thank you guys for joining us. We hope that this has been encouraging to you. Like I said, like, subscribe, share. That's the best thing you can do to get the word out about Real Talk and to use what we're doing on Real Talk, our conversations, to encourage others in your life. So thank you for joining us.
Bye.
Bye.